My name is Alex Yee. I'm a creative designer at Riot Games. I've had a lot of favorite champs over time. I think my favorite right now is Shen, but I started out with Twitch and will always have a special place in my heart, despite how cheesy he can be. As a creative designer, we cover pretty much as much ground as we possibly can. We directly write the biographies, the judgments, the voiceover. I actually just came back from the recording session for Monkey King today. So, we actually get to go there and hang out with the voice actors and sort of, supervise as they do their thing. We're also in the ideation groups where we just sort of get together and think about what would be really cool to see in League of Legends. How can we take an old idea and make it fresh? Like for instance, Maokai is a really good example of, the treant we wanted to make, but put like a little spin on him where he's got this whole chip on his shoulder about being brought to life and how he used to like being a tree so much, and now magic is sort of tearing with his whole existential situation.
Nature can be a real mother.
Coming up with totally new ideas in a game where every 2 weeks we're coming out with a new champion is really difficult. I can't say that it's all the creative design team. I mean, between the designers and the artists and everyone else who's involved in those meetings, lots of great ideas come from everyone because, at heart we're all gamers and we all know the kind of stuff that we think is really cool. I would say that creative gets to go to some of the most fun meetings that you'll ever have at Riot. We don't really, stick very hard to titles. I think at Riot, the culture is pretty open so that anyone can give their opinion on anything. Designers don't have a problem telling artists, what they think about an image. As a creative designer, I don't have any qualms about talking to Jay Watford, who's our killer sound guy, about the way I think a champion sounds or the sound effects that are on him. So it's pretty much open game for everyone. The most rewarding part of the job is when I've written something or we've all worked on some piece of content and it finally gets put out and you go to the forums and just in between people being like first post and nerf Jax or something like that, you have all these people who are just saying, wow, this is awesome, Riot, we love you guys, or quoting a specific line out of something you've written and being like, yes, that is exactly the thing that I'm thinking, or that's exactly the way I feel. That's really the most rewarding part. We actually would like to have a lot of the story guided by what players do, so we haven't had that many earth-shaking events or Runeterra-shaking events occur. One of the places where we actually got the opportunity to do more of what we'd like to see going forward in the future was the Ionia versus Noxus story match. We had a story match to decide whether Noxus would be forced out of Ionia or whether it would have like a permanent foothold there, because Ionia is a little island that's off the main continent. And what we did was we had a limited champion selection pool, which I think really excited people because it was adding sort of another layer to the game that you don't normally have. And then we handpicked out of submissions a group of people or 10 people who would play against each other to sort of decide the fate of this particular event. The Ionian team just did a super job of playing a tight, solid game. They made very few, almost no mistakes. We are definitely hoping to see a couple more of those in the future. We learned a lot, and next execution should be very exciting. There's definitely a lot of people out there who like having sort of an understanding of the world, and there's a smaller group of people who just really love it. We've gotten some letters from people talking about building RPGs, like tabletop RPGs with their friends based on the game. People have built models of the game map. There are people who have regular, consistent like forum or chat role-playing games and things like that. There are a lot of people who really like it, and Riot's all about making sure there's something for everyone. You can just keep learning more and more about your favorite champions, or you can learn more about the world that everything is set in. For instance, with Lee Sin, the blind monk, we knew that he was a really big deal. People on the forums had loved him. They'd been asking for him for quite a while. I had the privilege of working on a lot of the stuff for him, and it was really important to me to make sure that he felt like this really awesome character that beyond just being the blind monk, he had a much deeper personal life and some philosophies that you could actually think about throughout the course of your day, and it would make you feel like you knew him, and that he was the kind of person that you could sit in meditation with and take a lesson from.
Blindness is no impairment against a smelly enemy.
We had an article about him in the Journal of Justice where my reporter character, LB Brisks, who is sort of a cantankerous alcoholic. He had, one of his sort of typical caustic retreats where he went to talk with the blind monk, and where he is usually the person who will, steal the scene and make a big show of himself. He couldn't help but really be humbled in the presence of Lee Sin.
Force is meaningless without skill.
There were so many iterations of this because we just wanted to nail it for the fans, really. They'd been waiting and asking for this for so long that we wanted to deliver 110% when there were already high expectations. Stephen DeRose, worked like a beast to make that kit something that was solid across the board and still keep that theme of the blind monk. And then again, with the bio, with the judgment, everything, I really just wanted to deliver on a character who, even stripped of his sense of sight, had so much inner depth that he could just move straight past that with grace and just enter the league almost without skipping a beat to sort of represent this ideal that he does. As a whole, with all the champions, we really just try to make it so that despite the fact that they're all sort of hyperbolic examples of these just amazing people that we like to pretend to be or think about being, that behind that there's a real person that you can establish a personal connection with. If they're your favorite champion on the fields of justice, or if they're someone that you like the look of, or if it's just someone who interests you, there's all this content and all this potential for them, so that at the very least we'll give you a hook that you can go off and write your own stories or have your RPGs or do whatever you want and really feel like these characters. Pertaining to the EU server split, I know that there is the mentality or that, especially,
considering all the server problems that we've had, that it can seem like we don't care about our EU community. I wish we could release videos of the way that things have happened at the office when stuff like that happens. I mean, we've had guys who stay here literally 40 hours, and most of that's voluntary. Seriously, we love you guys. We're doing the best that we can. As soon as we can possibly fix this, we will. Any downtime is bad downtime, and we know that.